Oh my goodness, I have the animals today. Yes, I do. Hey, Piper. We got Piper here. Wilson's on the floor next to me. And he just bumped the camera. His head's in my lap. He really just wants to come hang out with Piper. That's really what it is. Okay, hopefully they will behave while I try to film today. And now that my nerves are calmed, I think I can start the video. Hey everyone, my name is Elizabeth. This is Frizzy Lizzie Stitches. Today is July the 1st, 2022, and today is episode, or Flosstube number 23. So it's been about a month since my last video, and a lot has happened, especially stitching-wise. I have been a stitching machine for the past month. So I keep looking down because the animals are down here and I'm making sure they're not going to fight each other. I think they finally have calmed down. But anyway, so yes, first thing that's probably very noticeable is I have a new setup behind me. This is my new desk. I mentioned in my last video that I was going to do this. I did it a lot quicker than I was anticipating, but I'm super excited because I've never had a desk of my own in my home before. I've always had one either at work or like in my dorm at school. So, okay. Anyway, I've stitched a lot in the past month, mostly because of StitchCon, but also because I am home all the time. So anyway, I actually counted up the hours that I spent stitching the past 25 days, which was 50 hours and 16 minutes. So that's kind of wild. That's like basically a work week plus 10 hours. So yeah, we're just have a lot of projects to touch on. I have, let's see, 5, 6, 7 projects to show you today. I also have lots of haul because I went to StitchCon and I bought some things. So this video is kind of going to be my StitchCon recap summary, my experience. I'm not going to dedicate an entire section of my video to it because I'm basically going to be mentioning it the whole video. So yeah, but aside from stitchy things, life has been pretty good so far. Piper and Wilson are getting along really well. Wilson has been learning lots of tricks. He knows like how to sit, stay, come here, shake, high five, roll over. So I think we have a video of him doing some of those tricks, so I'll pop that up here. Sit, shake, down, roll. Yay! Good boy! So Wilson's been really good at learning tricks. He basically teaches himself, which is really nice. So yeah, and then Piper's just been chilling in the sun per usual. We have a giant like patio window door situation happening, and it lets in a ton of light because it is an east-facing window. And so Piper like basically spends half the day laying in front of that window. So there's actually a really cute picture, I'll put it up right here, of Piper and Wilson laying in the window together. And granted, Wilson probably lay there for like a minute before he got up and did something else, but it looks really cute because they're like laying in the same position. And yeah, it's really sweet. But yeah, I went to StitchCon. It was amazing. Like I said, I'll talk about it during the whole video. And then when I got back from StitchCon, unfortunately, I did get COVID. But I don't even care that I got sick. I wouldn't have changed anything. So, I mean, because like, I don't think I went into it expecting to get sick, but I'm not surprised that I got sick because there were lots of people there. Like, there were probably like 5 people who actually wore a mask, myself not included. But yeah, I don't care, it's life. So that's all I'm gonna say about that. I did feel bad though because I did bring it home to Bobby, and then so Bobby had to miss out on like a week of orientation, but it really didn't end up like being detrimental to his today's his first day of work actually, so go Dr. Bobby. But anyway, I'm just gonna go ahead and start talking about the projects I did. I'm gonna just kind of go through a timeline of what my days were like the past 25 days. So yeah, So leading up to StitchCon, oh wait, it's actually right there in the very corner of the screen, but I'm gonna grab it real quick so you can see it. Okay, so leading up to StitchCon, there were a couple things that I wanted to make sure that I did. First of all, I did not participate in the Smalls Exchange, so I didn't worry about trying to make anything. However, looking back, I definitely had time to do something, but there'll just be something I can participate in next time. But I did want to cross-stitch myself a name tag because I just thought that was a really cute idea. So this is the name tag that I made for myself. The lighting is interesting. Okay, I have natural light coming from the window, and then I have my ring light on this side to kind of balance it out. I think it's working, but I don't know. Anyway, this is the name tag that I made for myself. This is 22 count Ada that I got at Michael's forever ago. And I just used a DMC variegated floss that was like red to pink. And yeah, there was a picture of a pattern that somebody had posted, and it had a really bubbly alphabet on it, and I really liked it, so I just took a screenshot of it and then kind of like charted it from this cross stitch to spell my name out. And then I just used my Stitch People book to do the back stitch part that says Frizzy Lizzie Stitches. But yeah, I got lots of compliments on this while I was wearing it. People thought it was really cute, and people were really confused of how I did this. After I stitched it, I cut it out, and then I just glued a piece of mat board to the back of it, and then glued this magnet on, and then this other magnet would go under my shirt. So kind of like a needle minder of sorts. But yeah, so I cross-stitched myself a name tag, and this will be really great to wear at future retreats. Right now I'm only signed up for one, which is Stitch North, and that's not until April, but yeah, so I just think it's really cute. I kind of want to make some more, but I highly recommend it. It took me like an afternoon to make it, so, and there's really no rules, just use your creativity. so yeah, that was one thing that I did to kind of prep for StitchCon. The other thing was I wanted to get Little Women to a point to where I could finish it at StitchCon and still have plenty of time to work on other things. So I put a lot of work in, and I got pretty much all of it done except for 2 colors in the border. And it ended up being my StitchCon finish. This is a picture of me ringing the bell. And yeah, so this is my finish for this update. This is Little Women by Sapphire Mountain Handcrafts. And so it looks like. So if you're familiar with this pattern, you may notice that the side borders are completely different than what the charted is. They're actually, so, and if you're not familiar, the borders are supposed to be like this little flower vine thing all along the side. And personally, I didn't really, I wonder if it'll look better if I do it on this side. Maybe. I think it looks the same. Anyway. So yeah, I changed the border because number one, I just didn't think, I thought it looked way too busy having all of the, those florals on the sides, because it was just kind of chaotic. And the other reason why I changed it is because on the pattern there was this like zigzag thing was probably only like that long in the top corners, and I was like, that would be really pretty if you just drag it all the way down. And also I wanted to bring more of the blue into this pattern because the only other place that it shows up is the door and Joe's name and then this little line under the word women. So first off, I tried to just pull the border up, and it did not line up quite right. So what I ended up doing was I printed out, this was a stitch along, so I printed out part 3 of 4. There were 4 parts, I printed out part 3, because part 4 was the border. So printing out part 3 gave me all those blank squares to be able to draw in my own border, which was the border that she did for this. I was just dragging this down. So I had to move some stuff around so that it would line up properly, but I think it turned out really great. I'm super happy with how it turned out. This is probably going to end up in a frame at some point. Don't know when or what kind of frame. But yeah, Let's see, details about this. I stitched it with the called for DMC. The only thing I changed was the border. I stitched this on 28 count vintage smoky white linen by Zweigart. I always want to call it vintage stormy night, and that's not what it is. But yeah, and I changed the date. It did say 2021, but I made it say 2022, because that's when I finished it. And then I threw in my initials after the fact, like yesterday, right there. And another fun little thing about this is I started it on June 16th, 2021, and I finished it on June 17th, 2022. So, yeah, that was the Friday of StitchCon. So, yeah, I got a finish, a really big finish. So now I can, because of that, I started something new at StitchCon. I would have started something new at StitchCon anyway, but I finished something, so that was even more encouragement to start it. So, yeah, okay. Pop that back there. So that was Little Women. I did write down some stats. So before StitchCon, I spent about 3 hours on that project. During StitchCon, I spent about 2.5 hours. So in total, I spent 5.5 hours over the past 25 days working on that project. I'm pretty sure it really was just 14 days because I worked on it before and during. So I like wrote out all these specifics on my projects for like how long I spent on each one and whatever. So yeah. So once I got to that good stopping point on Little Women so that I could finish it at StitchCon, I moved on to Possum Song. And I had let's see, like in the 2022 WIPGO board that I made for myself, which is very loose. I'm not following it like to a T, and I'm like changing things as I'm using it so I can understand it better so I can do it for real next year. But I had originally had the goal to be Possum left, like the whole left side of the project and then the whole right side of the project as 2 different squares. Well, I changed that to be the Possum and then as 1 square, and then like moonshine, banjo, and hat as another square. So anyway, I started working on that before StitchCon. I actually put in like nearly 7 hours of work on this before StitchCon, and I did bring this one with me. But this is Possum Song by Mama Witch Cross Stitch. It's going to look like this, and this is what it looked like last time. And if I can get this bag open, this is what it looks like now. So as you might can tell, I have made a ton of progress on this one. I filled in all of his body. He has a tail, he has a hat, he has hands, he has feet, he's got, wait, I said tail already. He's got a bottle of moonshine. The only thing missing for my 2 squares for my goal is his banjo. So, which is funny, I keep calling it a he, but I also told myself that I named her Polly, so I don't know. His name is Polly, I guess. But anyway, this is my Possum Song. This fabric is a lot bigger than that square. I just had to fold it up. This is how big it is. So definitely lots of stitching. More than the little picture makes you think there is. But yeah, so I spent, before StitchCon, I spent 6 hours and 50 minutes on him. And then during StitchCon, I spent almost 4 hours working on him. I think when I got to StitchCon, I basically just did all the moonshine and the tail. So, but yeah, I'm excited for how this one is coming along. I probably, once I do the banjo, I'm probably going to put it away until fall, and then I'll work on the border at fall time because the border just gives me big fall vibes. So, but yeah, that's how that's coming along. The main reason why I worked on him on Thursday of StitchCon is because, so I live like an hour north of Cincinnati, so I just drove to the conference, or is it a conference? The retreat, I'm gonna call it a retreat. I drove to the retreat every day, since I was close enough. And even with gas prices as high as they are, it was still going to save me a lot of money, which is just more money for me to spend on cross stitch. So, but anyway, so the main reason I worked on Possum Song on the first day is because after I got there on Thursday, I realized that I left my Q-snap at home, and I was like, oh, so dumb. But thankfully, I stitch with a hoop and in hand sometimes. So I happened to be stitching Possum Song in a hoop, and I had the hoop in the bag, so that's why I worked on him. But he ended up being a big hit. Like, a lot of people were asking to look at him, and thought he was really cute, so it was really fun. That was probably one of the really cool parts about there's so many cool parts about StitchCon, but the coolest part is how excited everyone gets to see your projects. There are people who like barely stitch and all they do is walk around and like ask to see your project. So yeah, it was super cool to get so much love on working on him, because it's not like when I'm stitching at home, Bobby comes up and he's like, oh look how cool, you know, what are you stitching on? Not to blame Bobby, but anybody who I would live with. So, okay, so that was Possum Song, and then I finished Little Women on Friday, and then after I finished Little Women, I was going to start my new project, but I started working on another one. I'm pretty sure, I don't know the exact order of events, but this would have been Friday. Friday was the day I did the least amount of stitching. That was another thing I was gonna write down, but I never did. I stitched for like 8 hours straight, not straight. I stitched for like 8 hours on Saturday. But on Friday, I probably stitched about like half that time, because I got there at like 8 o'clock. The annex opened at like 8:30. So like I immediately went to the annex with one of my table mates. And then spent way too much money for that early in the morning. And then I like went down and I decided I was gonna, you know, finish Little Women. And then I think after that, at that point, I got lunch. And then after lunch, I went to Keepsakes and rode the Stitchy bus. And then after that is when I probably started on that other project. So yeah, anyway. Friday was filled with lots of shopping and very little stitching. But yeah, so I put in a lot of work on Unplug and Go Outside. That was another project that I brought with me. I have it in one of my new project bags that I bought, and you can peek at my progress, obviously. But this is from Black Cat Stitchery, and I just love how cute those puppies are. And then there's a really cute like coral polka dot on the inside. And on her bag, she puts this little cat charm, which is really cute. Such smart branding. But yeah, it was funny. I saw these bags in the annex, and I was like, oh, project bags, because like I only have like 3. 2 of them I made. So I was very excited to buy project bags that somebody else had made, and it wasn't until later that I realized I actually met. So the girl who is Black Cat Stitchery is her name is Tiffany, I think, and I like had eaten dinner with her one night. Like I didn't make the connection that she was the person who made these bags. So anyway, Tiffany, if you're watching this, I love your project bags. But yeah, anyway, Unplug and Go Outside. This is a pattern from Cross Stitch for the Earth by Emma Congdon. It's the first design in this book, and it looks like this. It looked like this last time, which really should just be the letter O. And this is all the work that I got done on it while I was at StitchCon. So all of this, whoop, the sun over here like keeps coming in and out, so the lighting might be weird, but so yeah, I did all of that while I was at StitchCon, and that was this was across, I think, Friday and Saturday. Basically, there's a lot of confetti in this so that you get all that detail, and if I got bored of the confetti, I would just switch to a different project and then come back to it. So, but over the whole weekend, I spent nearly 5 hours working on this one. So, and like I said, it basically was all of this in here. So, This is on 16 count white Aida, using the called for DMC. This is my big piece of fabric for it. So, yeah, I definitely feel like this could be a finish this year if I just keep trucking away. Because, honestly, once the G is done, that is the bulk of the stitching on this. Because the unplug and outside on the bottom, like, are going to take no time at all compared to this. So, but yeah, that was Unplug and Go Outside. And also got a ton of compliments on this one too. It's just so pretty. And I love how like the landscape transfers over to the other letter. It's just really cool. So, and yeah, so got this in a brand new project bag. I only have like a few projects that aren't in like actual project bags right now, which is kind of nice. So, but yeah, that was Unplug and Go Outside. The next project that I worked on was my new start. Let's see. Trying to keep organized over here. All of my stuff is in a giant bag on the floor. Okay, so this is my new project, and I just think this is funny, so I'm going to show you. This is a makeup bag that I got for free at Ulta by spending so much money on benefit products, but it says pink is my happy place. And inside is my new project, which is Reaping Love. So I just thought it was funny putting this like gothic pattern inside this very happy bag. But yeah, so this is the pattern that I started. I worked on it for about 5 hours. And I'm stitching it with all the called for materials, except for the fabric. I picked a different fabric. But this is my start. So this fabric is from Fortnite Fabrics. It's called Cozy Cave, and it's 32 count linen. And this is a fat quarter, and I'm just stitching on the whole thing. And then I'm gonna cut it down after I'm done. But this project should only take up like this little corner here, so. But anyway, it's a lot of fabric to wrangle when you put it on the Q-snap, but I don't care. I'd rather cut it at the end. But this just looks so cool, because all that, I haven't stitched something with so much, like I've stitched with variegated floss, but I haven't stitched with variegated floss where it's like kind of a big block of color. So the grass and the letter H are 2 different Weeks Dye Works colors, and it just is so cool how much dimension is in there, even though I just used 1 color. So, yeah. And this is a paper pattern, but I decided, because I'm really used to stitching on my iPad, I just took a picture of it to scan it, and then I saved it to my Files app, and I'm reading the pattern from there, so I can mark off what I've done as I stitch. But this was a great project to take a break from Unplug and Go Outside, because like all of that tree is 1 color, and then all the grass obviously is 1 color, and all the letter H. So like I wasn't having to change my floss as much, except for, you know, when I run out I could replenish it, but it was the same color. So it was a good break from Unplug and Go Outside, where I was having to like switch colors like constantly. But yeah, so started this I think on Friday, and I'm glad I started in this corner because this is gonna be a lot. And that's one thing. So I actually sat at a table with Candace K on YouTube here, and hi Candace. And she kept making a comment about how that Reaper is going to be a ton of stitching. So, which it is, but I think it'll be worth it. So, but yeah, so that's Reaping Love. And then next, the last thing I worked on while I was at StitchCon, I worked on Reaping Love and Unplug and Go Outside mostly on Saturday. And then Sunday, I worked on Sweet as Pie, which we're going to show you next. But I really didn't work on it that much because it was the last day. I had gotten there at 8 o'clock, but the stitching room was going to close at like 3. And I had not gotten my picture with Stephanie, and I really wanted to get my picture with Stephanie. So I kind of just like waited around until she got there, and then I got my picture, me, her, and Candace got a picture together, and then we chatted for a little while, and then I went home. So, and then the next day I felt sick. So, anyway, but this is Sweet as Pie. My goal for this is to stitch 1 pie a day. No, oh my god, no. 1 pie a month. For the next year, since there's 12 pies. And I started this on Pie Day, March the 14th, this past year. So I had already stitched my pie for June, but I brought this so I could work on the border. So this is what the pattern is going to look like. This is what it looked like last time you saw it, and this is what it looks like now. So all I did was, I put in that heart, I put in the little spatula, and then I did the border from the top of the cherry pie down to that pink line underneath the cherry pie. I did all that border. So, and this also has some Weeks Dye Works in it, so the little wavy bits on the border is Weeks Dye Works, and that's the same color that's in the handle of the spatula and some of the outline on the crust on the cherry pie. And it's just really cool to see, excuse me, I'm not really going to be able to show it on camera, but everywhere I basically, I did 2 strands so that the colors lined up, and then I stitched 1 stitch at a time. Well, on the handle of the spatula, I actually did the loop method, and then I just, did all 1 leg and then came all back with the other one. And it's really cool how different the coloring looks when you do it that way, because it looks a lot more like marbled rather than just like kind of an ombre of sorts. But I really don't think you're going to be able to tell what I'm talking about. But yeah. Anyway, it looks really neat. So, but today's July the 1st, so I gotta pick a pie to do. I don't know which one I'm gonna do yet. I'm probably either gonna do the one next to the cherry pie or the one next to the strawberry rhubarb. So, but yeah. This is 28 count Picture This Plus linen and the color sand. And I'm using all the called for floss. And that's about it. Okay, so that was all of the stuff that I worked on at StitchCon. Before I move on to what I have worked on after StitchCon, which is 2 projects, I kind of just wanted to take a little bit of a breather and kind of talk about some of my StitchCon experiences. So, because I definitely am going to have a bunch of haul to show that is related to StitchCon, which is when I can talk about it also. But yeah. Anyway, okay, coffee break. So, StitchCon was amazing. Oh my god. I had never been, so first off, actually, I have been on Flosstube for a year now. I had my like 1-year Flosstube anniversary mid-May, but I was like in the middle of moving, and then my last video I was so preoccupied with, I haven't made a video in so long, that I like completely forgot to say anything about it. So yeah, I've been on Flosstube for a year now, and this is video 23. So yeah, it's been a wild experience. Never did I think I was going to be in this situation, but I absolutely love it. Thank you so much for following me, commenting on my videos, liking my videos, subscribing. That makes this a lot more fun because I would probably still do it, but like it makes it way more rewarding when you're verified that people are like actually engaging with your content. So thank you guys, I really appreciate it. But yeah, so been on here for a year now, and StitchCon was my very first cross stitch retreat. Had never done anything like that before. When I got there, I like pulled into the convention center parking lot, and I was like really nervous. I had my name tag on. And I was like, oh my god, like I don't know what door to go in. And then I saw these older ladies and they had like these giant bags like stuffed to the brim with cross stitch. And I was like, that's probably where I was supposed to go. So followed them in, and Pam and Steph were working the, I guess the sign-in counter or whatever, check-in. And so I like walked in and Pam was like, what's your last name? And I was like, ah. And Steph was like, Pam, do you know who that is? And I was like, ah. I was so like I don't want to say starstruck, because like Pam and Steph are just normal people, but like I was so excited to get to see them in person. And it was such a cool experience. And so they gave me all my swag, and then I like went into the stitching room, and I was like standing there. The room is huge if you've never been in there. There's like tables everywhere, and I had no idea who anyone was. I didn't know where to sit. I didn't know how to find a seat. So I'm like walking around aimlessly, holding all of my stuff, and I find this like random like cocktail table of sorts, like the standing tables, you know, that had some like Germix on it. And so like I decided to just stand there and like scroll through my phone for a minute to kind of like figure out what I was gonna do. And this girl came up to me and she was like, hey, do you need a place to sit? And I was like, yes, please. So that was one of my table mates, Emily. Thank you, Emily, for rescuing me. And Emily had gotten a table there was no one else there, so it was just the two of us for a moment. And at that point, Emily had to go do a meeting, poor thing, for work. But so I was at the table by myself, and then Candace got there and she found me, and so she sat next to me, and then our table slowly started to collect some people, and so we had a really great table. I had a really great time. This is a picture of me and all my table mates. But yeah, I had a really great time. There were moments where we would just sit there and not talk to each other, and we were just stitching away. There were other moments where we would be talking about stitchy stuff, non-stitchy stuff, like people would come by and pass stuff out. Like, it was just so cool. And then they had the brag table, which I brought some stuff for the brag table. I brought my Awesome Myth, and I brought Garden Party. And when Little Women was finished, I put Little Women up there. And then there was a freebie table, which basically had a bunch of like cross-stitch magazines from like the 80s and 90s, which is funny to see, but I didn't take anything home. And then obviously the annex was super cool, which I'll talk more about that when I do my haul. And got to go to Keepsakes and ride the Stitchy bus. But yeah, so it was super cool, and I'm really excited to do it again next year. So hopefully make the wait list or make the cut or whatever. So okay, so let's see. I'm gonna move on to the last two projects that I worked on post StitchCon. So I had gotten home, and I didn't really want to work on any of the projects that I worked on during StitchCon, because I wanted to, well, first of all, I had already spent a whole weekend working on them. Second of all, I didn't want to add more progress to them until I showed them off in my video. So I just poured a lot of time into Sweetheart Campfire. If you're not familiar, Sweetheart Campfire is my one and only full coverage piece. It is an Etsy generated pattern of Thomas Kinkade's Sweetheart Campfire, which looks like this. Absolutely beautiful. And yeah, I started this January of this year, and I stitched, let's see, I stitched on this over the course of 11 days. I stitched on it for 13 hours and 56 minutes. I actually got to a point where I needed to move the Q-snap so I could move over to the right side. So this is what it looked like last time you saw it. And then this is what it looked like when I moved it, moved the Q-snap. And I actually laid the whole fabric out. There's two pictures. One is the progress. Two is how tiny all of my stitching looks on the giant piece of fabric. And then this is what it looks like right now. So it's starting to look like a picture. Like, you see this? That looks like a tree. That looks like a star. Like, I can see stuff happening here. So yeah, I think in that picture I show you where it's just like the tiny little triangle on the giant piece of fabric, I think it comes to like right on the other side of this tree. So like all that stuff, I cannot do this in the, I cannot do this through the camera. Okay, so all of this right here, I did all of that after I moved my Q-snap. So I am using Pattern Keeper on this, but I did not write down how many stitches I was doing or anything, but I think last time I looked at it, it said I was like almost 7% done, which is not entirely accurate because since this was like a pattern generated on Etsy, the symbol for the color black is just a blank cell. So those do not show up at all on Pattern Keeper. It just thinks that there's no stitch there. Well, there is a stitch there, and there's like, I had to buy 16 skeins of black to fill in all the black that's required on this project. So I don't know how many thousands of stitches the black is, but it's a lot. So I'm probably less than 6% done, or 7% or whatever it said. But yeah, I'm very proud with how much progress I've made on this, and I kind of like wanted to keep working on it, but I also was kind of like getting a little burnt out, and I did not want to get burnt out because I don't want to hate this. But yeah, see, like all this, that right there that's missing is supposed to be black. So what I've been doing since the black isn't showing up in Pattern Keeper is I've been stitching in a diagonal, as you might can tell, and whenever that diagonal is full, if there's enough black to where I think I can use a decent amount of floss to fill it all in, I will. If not, I'll just keep stitching and then leave it blank. And then once I do have enough to fill in that will take up like a whole strand, I'll just stitch all the black, tie it off so I don't have to worry about parking it somewhere. And it's easy to know that I stitched those because it's past the point of the diagonal pattern that I'm following. So I don't know if that makes sense, but it makes sense to me, so that's all that matters. But yeah, I also bought these things at Keepsakes. I know you can buy them on Amazon, but I did not want like 50 of them, so I just bought 4. And it was funny because I was trying to use one the other day for something else, and I was like, oh my god, I lost it. But no, I'm just using all of them on this one project. So, but it's a lot nicer than having that ponytail holder headband thing going across my project. So yeah, anyway, I've made a ton of progress on this, and I'm so excited about it. So, okay, that was Sweetheart Campfire. The last project that I have to show you today is a stitch along from Caterpillar Cross Stitch called Touch of Magic. And this is a kit that Sally at Caterpillar Cross Stitch provided to me so I could stitch the stitch along with you guys. I am an affiliate, or I am an ambassador for Caterpillar Cross Stitch, and I have an affiliate link. That will be detailed in the description box below. You can use the code Frizzy10 please on any purchase, as long as there's not another offer happening, and get 10% off. So if you want to, you know, go buy the pattern or something so that you can join the stitch along, you can totally use that code. But now that out of the way, this is what it looks like, or is going to look like, based on the parts that have been released so far. And this is what it looked like last time you saw it. I'm pretty sure I showed it last time. And this is what it's looking like right now. So I've got quite a bit done. So when I first got this, I was like 90% sure that it was the new parts were supposed to be released every other week. And then that other week came by and we didn't get a pattern, and I was like, oh, maybe it's not. Turns out you get 1 pattern a month, which is frankly way better because then it doesn't stress me out as much about trying to keep up. But it's kind of funny to me because this was part 1, and then all of this is part 2. So it's like twice as much stuff. But anyway, so this says Spooky Season, Black Cat, right here where my pinky is, it's gonna say cast a spell, and there's gonna be a wand. And then right here, I kind of skipped it on purpose for now, is a giant black cat that is like pretty much all fill-in black floss. So yeah, but I absolutely love the little spider coming off of the words black cat. I love all of the drop shadows that are on the words. Like spooky black cat and treat have it all. So yeah, super cute. Alright, well that was all of my projects. Quite a lot, and I'm like 50 minutes into this video. I think some of it I might be able to chop out, but we'll see. Okay, I already showed you one of the project bags that I bought, so I'm going to go ahead and show you the other one because I did put a project in it. It's also from Black Cat X Stitchery, and like I said, I already put a project in there. The inside is like a gray, I forget what you call that. These polka dots. I think it has a special name where it's like spaced out like that. But anyway, got the little black cat on the zipper. And this pattern, it cracks me up. I had seen this on Steel City Stitchers. They had shown this pattern on a bag. I don't know if it was the same bag maker or not, but anyway, it's just like quilting comics, like sewing comics. So like, this one is my favorite. She says, "Oh no, I ripped it." Sewing helps me to forget everything. And then this one's like, "How was I supposed to know to cut on the bias? My garment looks homemade. I should have used interfacing." Just really funny things like that. So this girl is me. She says, "Oh, limp thread, that last cup of coffee, and I think I'm going blind." So anyway, that's my that's the second project bag that I bought, and I went ahead and put Halloween Quaker in here, but the inside of the bag is just like that gray, and then of course it has the vinyl front. So, but yeah, so got that bag. I got these bags in the annex. So I don't think I have two bags here. I don't really think they're divided up between what I bought at the annex and what I bought at Keepsakes. I think I divided it up with like patterns in one and like non-pattern things in the other. So, but briefly, that's my new trash can. It's my favorite thing. It's the same trash can that Elizabeth Can Stitch mentioned in one of her videos. I just got the white one. But anyway. Oh, and I still have coffee. Ha ha ha. So, there were two means of shopping at StitchCon. One was the annex. Most accessible, considering it was right across from the Stitchy Room in the convention center. Second place to shop, and most nostalgic or iconic, was Keepsakes. So, and you had a couple options to get to Keepsakes. You could either take the Stitchy bus or you could drive yourself. I took the Stitchy bus because, duh, here's me on Sunday, picture with the Stitchy bus before I had to leave. But yeah, so I think I'm just going to, well, actually, I'll tell you about the annex first. So the annex was super cool because it was kind of a great, I've never been to anything like this, but from what it sounded like, it was very similar to a trunk show in the sense, and I didn't really know what trunk show meant until this past like couple weeks. But basically, the entire annex was filled with collections of different designers and makers. So they had lots of different like brands, if you will, that were all there, and so it was a great, like, it was just really cool. They had a whole table full of Fortnite fabrics. They had like a whole section full of Steel City Stitchers, like Jody's fabric. I think they had fabric from some other places that I hadn't heard of before. They had a whole section of Liz Mathews, Kathy Barrick, Heart and Hand, like so many things that you have already heard of, and so many things that you have not heard of. So there were so many things in there. So I guess I'll go through my patterns first, because pretty much all the patterns I bought were from the annex. Okay, so one of the first patterns I bought was this Halloween Tales by Lindy Stitches, and I bought it for Mr. Frankencat down here. absolutely love this pattern. This pattern came out a while ago. I don't actually know when, but it says 2021, so maybe last Halloween or something. But yeah, so I bought it for Mr. Frankencat down here. And I'm just now realizing he's got like a little bat on his tail. Oh my god. So stinking cute. So yeah, I'm really excited to stitch that. And while we're here showing this, one of the things I bought at Keepsakes was, that's my receipt, we're not looking at that, was this fabric to go with the Frankencat. So this is actually kind of funny. So at Keepsakes, they have, the way they store their fabric is like in all these little plastic bins that are like labeled with either a count or a dyer. So like this one came from the Fiber on a Whim box, and I saw it and I was like, oh my gosh, that's like the perfect color for Frankencat. The called for Frankencat is called Papaya Lope by Color and Cotton, but this is, like I said, Fiber on a Whim, and it's called Lipstick. Apparently this is a really old dye lot, because there were actually 2 cuts of lipstick in that bin, and the newer one was like super dark, but this one was like more pastel, if you will. And yeah, so I got a 1/4 yard of this. It's 32 count linen. So yeah, but it'll look really good with Halloween tails. So that was one thing. I got the fabric at Keepsakes. I got the pattern at the Annex. The next thing I bought was from Keepsakes. This is called The Cat in the Moon. This is a Brenda Gervais pattern. They had the model stitched in the store, and I really wanted to buy a pattern and like partially kit it up while I was there, so this is the one that I picked out. The little cat's face is so cute. There's another shot of it right there. So I got this, and I bought a lot of the floss that is called for it. It wasn't until after I checked out and I was sitting on the front porch of Keepsakes waiting for the Stitchy Bus to come back that I realized that there was a whole like row of called for colors on the back of the well, is there any more? That might be it. Okay. It wasn't until I had already made my purchase and was waiting on the Stitchy Bus to come back to pick us up that I realized there were some Gentle Arts that were called for that I did not even bother to see if they had it. But these are some of the flosses that are called for this. There was one of the, I was trying to figure out like his eyebrows and his face, because there were some colors that were missing, and I was trying to like pick other ones. So I might end up subbing some out, because I think it's this one right here is supposed to be his face, and I just think it's really brown for this, but we'll see when I get to it. I don't even know when that'll happen. So okay, so I bought those flosses and I bought this pattern. That was at Keepsakes. This one was from the Annex. It's a needle minder from Rebel Stitcher, and it's Chucky from Rugrats. So couldn't say no to that. And then let's see, that was a freebie. There were some freebies that they gave us at StitchCon, and then there were some freebies that I found at Keepsakes. So I'm not going to show those, but I did gather quite a few freebies. So the rest of these patterns I'm about to show you came from the Annex. This was the StitchCon exclusive pattern designed by Sue Hillis. I believe it's just called StitchCon. But they had this, they had the model for this in the Annex, and anyway, it's just so stinking cute. I'm really excited to stitch that. And the way they had it finished was on this little like cheese board situation, and so I bought the board to go with it. I think it fits perfectly if you stitch it on 40 count. So that's the board. That's the pattern. But I'm really excited. It's an adorable pattern, and it'll be a great little memento from this year. So that's that. The next one I bought, I was very inspired by Elizabeth Ann Can Stitch. This is the Tellin Emblem Scissor Sampler. I just love those scissors, and I've never done a sampler, so I think it'd be really fun. The border's really pretty, and I love, like I said, I love the scissors, and that little flower in the middle is really cute. So, got that one. And then these are, I got 2 Liz Mathews patterns. The first one I got was Berry Patch, which I saw the model for this there, and it was so much smaller than I thought it would be. It was darling. Loved it so much. And then the other pattern that I got was the 4th Day of Christmas. I don't really have plans to stitch all 12 of the Christmas patterns. So far she just has 6 out right now, but this one is absolutely my favorite by far, because, I don't know, to me it doesn't like scream Christmas, but it definitely is very Christmassy, because obviously Joy to the World. But I just love the music notes in there. So cute. I don't know if I'm going to stitch it, well, somebody asked me when I got it out, like, you know, stitch it as a tree or in the frame. And honestly, I think I might stitch it both and gift the tree to my mom. But Mom, if you're watching this, I have no idea if that's going to happen anytime soon. So, okay. And then the last set of patterns that I bought, I did not buy until Saturday afternoon, because I was like, I have to get these. But these are, I think they're all exclusive to Keepsakes. But they are, I don't really know what you'd call it. I guess this one is called Your Favorite Needle Workshop. And so that's the Keepsakes house. And then obviously it's got the alphabet, and it says, "Peace be to this house and the stitchers within." Ooh, I read that like mirror style. Okay. Yeah. And then, yeah, here it is on the back. So I'll show you the actual book, but on the back here, all those little squares are the next 3 books that I bought. And they had the sample, they had the model in the, oh my God. Okay, they had the model in the Keepsakes store, in the patriotic room. But basically it's the house, all of this, and then underneath it is all the squares. I don't really know if I'll stitch it all together like that, but I thought these small squares were perfect for future smalls exchanges, because they're all stitching related. So these are, like I said, all exclusive to Keepsakes, so if you really want these, just give the store a call to try to order them. But this is book 1, so it's got, my favorite one in book 1 is this little alphabet with the spools of thread. And they had all these models there, and they were just so cute. So this is, there are 4 patterns, and then each book is 4 patterns, so you get 12 squares. There's the second one. I don't know which one's my favorite on here. Probably the ABCD alphabet one. And then this is the last one. I like the pins and needles, needles and pins. So I got those. And then if you bought, I don't know if you bought all 3 of the books, or if you just bought the whole, if you bought the 3 books plus the main chart. But anyway, this is the, and the pattern's like down here, so I'm not going to show it, but this was a freebie if you bought the other charts. So you can switch out this square with one of the others. And let's see, I'm going to cover up the pattern. Here's the layout if you stitch all of it together. That right there. So anyway, super cute. But yeah. All right. So, and the last thing I bought was this grime guard. I have it on my Q-snap, but it's just pink with red hearts. So, really cute. I think that might be all of my haul. Whew. It's really a lot of patterns. So we'll see if I ever get around to stitching any of those. But I don't know, with all this stitching that I've been doing recently, like I definitely could have a finish soon. I think in order to have a finish, I would need to like pick one project and only work on it until it's done. But, Oh wait, I didn't even show you. Hold up, back up. Okay, so when I got to StitchCon and checked in, they had like some free stuff for us, and the best part was this adorable tote bag. I don't know if any of you are familiar with LL Bean, but this is like the LL Bean bag. But yeah, so it just has StitchCon screen printed on there, and yeah, it's so cute and such a sturdy little bag. And then they gave us like a little going away gift, which was little trinkets to make a scissor fob. So that's kind of hard to see, but there's like some jump rings and some charms in there, so you can make a scissor fob. And then they gave us this adorable little notebook, which has StitchCon embossed on it. And it came with a pen that has a stylus on the end. And oh well. And let's see. Then they also gave us some StitchCon stickers. There's like Keepsakes, the Keepsake sign, the Stitchy bus, 310 little cat that lives at Keepsakes. And then they gave us, you know, our little passport, which just has information about like when the annex is open, when the Stitchy bus is making runs, and like there's some free patterns in here, and a list of Flosstubers, some places to eat, things to do, all that kind of stuff. So, and then another thing that happened at StitchCon that I wish I had participated in was passing out floss drops. There were so many people who had made floss drops with like their pets or their Flosstube channel, or like pictures of their vacation, like just really cool variety of floss drops. So this whole little manila envelope is full to the brim of floss drops. Some people like just bundled them together with some string and didn't punch any holes. Some people did punch holes and even put it on a jump ring. So there were some people who passed out little needle minders, like so many things. So this is, well, I just flung that across the room. This is like full with different floss drops. So that was fun. Next year, I'm definitely going to make floss drops to pass out, and I'm definitely going to participate in the Smalls Exchange. Okay, I did actually want to show you this though. I made like a little memory page in my bullet journal of StitchCon. So this is actually one of the stickers that was in there. And then I just wrote a little blurb about my experience, and then there's some pictures. I think I probably will have shown all of these in the video by now. And these are all on my Instagram, all these pictures, if you want to see any of them up close. But yeah, and I just used some red stickers to fill in the spaces. But just thought that came out really cute. Thanks for watching. I will talk to you again soon, probably a lot sooner than a month, because if I keep stitching the way I'm stitching, I'm gonna have lots of stuff to show. So, okay, that's enough rambling for me. I'll see you guys later and have a great day. Bye.